Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Filterless Podcast. Good to be with you, Dr. KK.
Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner.
Like
Don't forget
it's rodeoed up, baby.
Yeah, so, all month.
I love it.
It's the only time I could do it.
Did you go at all?
No,
I didn't go either.
I was on call.
And what's crazy is this is like the first year where the weather was perfect.
It was good this weekend.
It wasn't cold. It wasn't rainy. I mean, it would have been an awesome time.
I'm sad we missed it. You were out of town. I was on call.
I was in Miami.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Next
It wasn't
year.
bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, we were on the boat.
Yeah.
It was nice. I got to show you the boat, dude.
Yeah.
Sick.
Hell yeah.
Well, buddy,
This is going to be an interesting pod, Mike.
it's going to be an interesting pod.
We gotta set the
I'm
record
I'm
straight.
kind of glad that we're a few days into this because so much information that I thought was real was not real, and we wanted to do a pod pretty much the day it happened on the 29th. It started on the 28th, but we're just going to jump right into it and start talking a little bit about Iran and what's going on, and then some Epstein stuff perhaps. But I think the Iran Epic Fury is going to, Operation Epic Fury is going to take up the most of the pod today.
Yeah.
We are in World War III.
Yes.
You can say whatever you want, but this is World War III now. As we look back 20 years from now, we will know that this was the start of World War III, I think.
Wow.
So to give a little context, on midnight, February 28th, 2026, the President Trump authorized Operation Epic Fury after failed nuclear talks and Iran's uranium enrichment push. It's a joint U.S.-Israel campaign with Israel's Operation Roaring Lion running parallel with our Operation Epic Fury. It's the biggest U.S. op in the region in decades. Key players are the U.S. forces under CENTCOM, led by Admiral Brad Cooper and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Using bombers, drones, and missiles from Gulf bases, targets are Iran's IRGC, nuclear sites, and leadership. Iran has retaliated with missiles and drones on U.S. bases in Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Jordan, and Israel, including Tel Aviv's airport today. Mostly intercepted, but ripple effects have hit Azerbaijan with drone attacks on civilians and missiles over Turkey. So far, over 3,000 targets have been struck in the first week, sinking 30-plus Iranian ships, pretty much their entire naval fleet, cutting missile launches by 86% from day one, and cutting drone attacks by 73% since day one. Hits on the nuclear facilities in Isfahan and Qom at the IRGC bunkers near Tehran and refineries. Smoke is choking out the people in the capital right now because they did hit some oil infrastructures. Top commanders have been eliminated. Air superiority has been gained by the U.S., and Iran's counter is Operation True Promise 4, but they are very much in a reeling mode and really not doing anything as of today, except for very small things. As of this afternoon, March 8th, there has been no slowdown. Deeper strikes are underway. Possible ground phase is coming. Trump calls it peace through strength, urging regime change. Fuel prices are up. Capital debates going on, and that's the latest.
Yeah.
So we're just going to jump kind of right into this. We were talking, quite a bit on the 28th and 29th whenever this happened, through text messages and things like that, about what's been going on. And so I'm just going to that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of a brief overview. And I'd love to dig in a little bit deeper. So where do you think you want to start?
I want to start, Mike, with the actual decision to attack Iran. I think you said that happened on February 28th, right? Okay, so we're just for the record, guys, today is March 8th. And again, like Mike said, you're going to hear this days, if not weeks after the recording. And so some of the stuff we say, and again, for entertainment purposes only, just so everyone's clear, because now we're getting into some deep stuff as far as reporting things that we think are true versus not true. And just to be clear, this is something that Mike and I have been warning everyone about since before the wars, where we said this idea that nobody knows what's real and no one knows what's fake. That's a very scary thing to be living through, especially in times of war. So, U.S. decides to attack them. We launched the first shot, right?
Yep.
That's undeniable, I think.
It was either us or Israel, but yeah.
Okay. I just want to know, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. What did Iran do between us bombing their nuclear facility, which was like, that was like several months ago. Remember?
8 months, yeah.
Yeah. What did Iran do threatening-wise or attack-wise between then and February 28th? Because I don't remember Iran doing anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think they did anything militarily.
Right. No attacks.
What I have been informed of is that the negotiations stalled, and during the stall, they tried to get negotiations going back again with them. And when Iran came back to the table for the new negotiations around the 24th or 25th, 23rd or 24th of February, they basically sat down and said, look, we have 60% enriched uranium.
Yeah.
We're continuing to do what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Do something. And so Trump said, okay.
Well, here's the other question. Did Iran ever violate the deal that they struck with?
Well, I mean, the deal was
Obama?
ripped up. So,
Okay.
The deal that the United States had during the
Right.
Obama administration, which was basically you can't do anything for 20 years, but after 20 years you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I
Which
don't know
is
the
the
details.
stupidest deal.
No, I don't know the details of it. I remember that Obama got really like dragged through the mud.
And so then
for that
when
deal.
Trump became president, Trump said, hey, this deal no longer works for
Okay.
us. We don't ever want you to have a nuclear program.
Right.
So let's talk again
Okay.
because we're not going to abide by this. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
And so then the negotiations started. Negotiations were happening for weeks. And then we took out their nuclear sites, or we thought we did.
That's what I was going to ask. I
Right.
thought we did, and we were so proud of it, and that
Yeah.
everything was cool.
And then negotiations started back up, and negotiations stalled. And then the Iranian people, or not the Iranian people, but the government proxies came in and with Kushner and Witkoff, and basically said, we've got 60% enriched uranium.
Yeah.
We're not stopping. So you can do whatever you want to do. And they said, okay, well
Okay.
then we're going to do that.
Okay, here's a fun.
Now I do feel that Israel might have forced our hand. Right?
So you feel that way?
Yeah. So I do feel that there was probably some talks between Israel, Bibi, and Trump. And Bibi probably said, hey, we're doing this with or without y'all. And I think Trump probably was like, well, if you're going to do it, we'll do it too.
There's a lot of Americans that feel that way too, Mike. There's
Yeah.
a lot of Americans that feel
Well, I mean,
like
Marco Rubio said it.
He
Now
did
he
say it.
retracted it after he said it,
did
but he
say
still
it.
said it.
I heard him say it.
He said they were going to do it, and if they did it, we knew that we were going to get hit by Iran, so we had to hit first.
No, I think he essentially
Which I
said,
think is true. Which I
It
think is true.
He said in not so many words that they forced our hand. I think he used that phrase.
I don't know
forced
if
our
he
hand.
said
Yeah.
forced our hand,
Yeah.
but he very much said we knew Israel was going to do this. If Israel did this, Iran would hit U.S. targets because we're their biggest ally, and we're not going to let that happen. So we hit it first.
But do you see the common theme with this notion of we have to do this because if we don't do this, then this will happen? This is Palestine. This is Palestine in a nutshell. You ask yourself, why does the occupation even exist in the first place? Their rationale is, well, we have to occupy them because if we don't, they'll kill us.
Right.
Right? So this theme, I want Americans, including myself, an American, I just want everyone to understand, like, that's a dangerous game you play when you keep using that line. It's like, well, we had to do this because if we don't, X, Y, and Z will happen with 100% certainty. That's scary, Mike. I'm telling you, it's scary. And that's the whole reason why Palestinians have been occupied and essentially locked up since the mid-1900s. And again, if you ask yourself, I do this game sometimes where I ask my friends, I'm like, okay, why are we attacking Iran? And they'll say, well, Iran wants to kill America. And I'll say, okay, why does Iran want to kill America? And they really kind of pause there. They really don't know. And then I tell them, well, why is Iran mad at Israel? And they'll say, because they're Muslim. I said, okay, but why? What is the link between Palestine and Iran besides Muslim? Like, is that it? Is it just because they're Muslims, they're because there's a ton of other Muslim countries around Israel that aren't doing anything. So why Iran in particular is helping the Palestinians? My point that I'm trying to make to everybody is the cause of World War III is the occupation of the Palestinian people. That's the root cause of all of the drama in that region. And instead of just addressing the root cause, we're just going to keep killing each other back and forth and bombing to where you never
what you're
get to a
specifically
point.
talking about is Iran's prop up of Hamas. Is that what you're referring to?
Iran's support for Hamas and Iran's support for Hezbollah. And Hezbollah and Hamas are not friendly with the government of Israel. Yes.
Or the U.S.
Yes, exactly. So I guess what I'm saying is if you go down to the root cause, maybe we should be trying to solve that issue. But instead, we're just so caught up in war now, it's never going to get solved. Because now it's like, well, you hit me, I hit you, you hit me, I hit you. It's just going to keep going back and forth to where nobody... See how we kind of forget what the root cause of this whole conflict actually is? I'm telling you, it's the Palestinians.
Well, I mean, I think the real root cause is oil, but
that's the other thing. Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna narrow it down to what is the real actual root cause, I think that there's so much at play here, and I think that a lot of it has to do with energy. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, when you're talking about the two last places that we just hit are the Chinese's gas station. Yeah. We hit Venezuela. We're basically running Venezuela now, and Iran is the other place for China's gas stations.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you really want to narrow it down,
is that smart? On the U.S.'s part?
Well, it just depends on what your play is, right? I mean, what's your long-term, play? The problem that I have is anytime we do anything, we point the finger at China and be like, we're doing this because they're our enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing this because they're our enemy.
And like you said, I'm sorry, when was the last time China actually kind of, guys?
Well, besides COVID.
I don't think they're the ones that released it.
Oh, come on.
I think the deep state released it. I don't think China released it.
Yeah, but if you're talking about the deep state, that's China too.
No. I'm talking about I'm talking about the Epstein deep state.
That's what I'm talking about too.
No, I'm talking about
You don't think that there's Chinese people involved in that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No. I'm talking about, listen, when I say deep state, Mike, I'm talking about people who own the Federal Reserve.
I know what you mean, but what I'm talking about is like, if you look at all of the moves that, were before the Iran, Operation Epic Fury, right? If you look at everything that we've done, it has systematically been causing China grief, right? Everything that we've done
and Russia
has a direct, between China and Russia, right?
And North Korea's pissed.
So are we doing all of this for this end game? And at the same time, hopefully helping the Iranian people out. Now, I don't necessarily think that the United States really cares about the Iranian people.
I don't
think they really cared about the Venezuelan people, to be quite honest with you.
I don't either, Mike.
I don't think they cared about the Palestinian people.
No, this is a super sensitive topic, Mike. I have a lot of Persian friends. You have a lot of Persian friends. We live in Houston. Yeah. I kind of got to watch what I'm posting because I know it's a little insensitive to them. Like, I posted about the Iranian schoolgirls being killed. There was like over 100 schoolgirls between the ages of 7 and 12 that died. Yeah. And it was reportedly either an attack by either Israel or the U.S.
I think they have confirmed that it was a U.S. Drone that did it.
So all I did was just
accidentally
put that out there, right? And then my Persian friends didn't like that because that was them saying, hey, whoa, you're against us freeing ourselves from the regime, right? And I said, no, I'm not. I just want people to know that a bunch of innocent beautiful schoolgirls were killed. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm at a point now on social where I just want to present the facts. And let everyone decide what they want to decide, but at least give people the facts.
Well, I mean, the fact is that one of our missiles or drones, whatever, hit a naval base there in Iran, and connected to that naval base was an elementary school, and it ended up killing about 180 people, majority of them young girls.
The bases.
It's true.
Okay, the bases, right? Bahrain is one. I think UAE and Saudi. A lot of our bases have been hit. We cannot deny this.
They hit bases. Iran has hit bases in Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Jordan, and of course Israel.
Word on the street is that all those Arab countries that allowed the United States to build huge bases into their country for protection is not very happy with the United States because reportedly, and again, this is all allegedly. I'm not CNN. I'm not Fox. All I know is I see things come across my phone, and I kind of have a good idea sifting out what I believe is real and what's not real. I believe I do, just based off of my intrinsic knowledge of the situation.
I don't know, man. I mean, that's one of the issues that I think is a huge issue right now is what's real and what's fake.
100%.
And I think it's 50-50. I honestly do. I think that 50% of what you're seeing is real, and I think 50% of what you're seeing is fake. The problem is, it's very difficult to tell which 50 is right and which 50 is wrong. There have been so many AI videos and stuff that I've seen to where and then you pull up a report and it's like, this never happened. It's like, man, that looks real.
Okay, let's talk about this. You heard about the painted jets on the floor?
Yeah.
And we wasted a bunch of bombs on that?
Yeah, apparently.
That's real.
Apparently.
That's real.
Yeah.
Okay. That's real. But again, people don't know that. I think the average American doesn't know that.
Yeah,
it's not
but,
being,
but I also
publicized.
I also see like the need to they were going to blow those areas up anyway because where those fake planes were at were on their military bases. So it's like, well, yeah, did we blow up a fake plane? Yeah, but did we also decimate the entire military base by blowing up those fake planes? Yeah, we did that too. I
know that I think we sent in some B-52 bombers 3 days ago, and those bombers did a lot of damage. And right now, the oil refineries are on fire in Iran. I know that.
Like 3 of them, I think.
Saudi Aramco got hit, right?
Their oil
field got hit.
And Iran came out immediately and apologized.
They did.
Did you see this? Yeah.
No.
The foreign minister of Iran came out like today and apologized about hitting
the Aramco. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think he realizes, like, we might have just messed up.
Okay.
Because if Saudi gets in and puts boots on the ground, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. And the Kurds, I don't think Iraq's going to do any. I don't think Iraq's going to do anything.
Dude, please, I'm sorry, guys, for all my Kurdish friends out there, even though I don't have any. I don't even know who the Kurds are, man. I don't even know who they are,
it's the Iraqi
where they
faction.
came from, what they do.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a guy who's Palestinian. No one knew what a Palestinian was really until October 7th, so the Kurds shouldn't really be offended. I don't know anything about them. All I know is anytime there's war, they show up.
Well, they've helped us a lot. They helped us in Desert Storm. They helped us, with 9/11, what we did
Something
over there.
in Syria. They're involved in Syria, too.
But they're some of the best fighters in the region. The Iraqi Kurds are some of the best fighters in the region.
Who's funding them? We are?
Oh, well.
U.S.?
I'm sure.
Okay,
just
like we funded Osama.
We fund everybody.
Just like we funded Osama
we funded
bin Laden.
Iran. We gave Iran $8 billion during Joe Biden's presidency.
We definitely funded the coup that overthrew Mossadegh in the 1950s. Yeah. I mean, we put the Shah in power.
I'm glad you say overthrew because that's the next thing that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward, hopefully 10, 12, 14 days from now.
Yeah.
And I hope that in 2 weeks from now that we are at the point to where we're talking about regime change. I hope. Now, whether or not that happens or not, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to, we're just going to theoretically play around with this. What happens next?
Exactly.
What happens next? Who takes over? You've just killed everybody.
No, I'll tell you. Well, they want to put in the Shah's son, that Pahlavi.
Reza Pahlavi.
Yeah, that's who the U.S. and Israel want installed.
I don't think so, man. Trump doesn't like him.
It doesn't matter because Trump's controlled, and you know who controls Trump.
And he's not there. If he goes there right now,
he's never been there, Mike. He's left. I think he left when he was a kid. He's never been there. He's never served the political office ever. He's just the son of a symbolic character who the people of Iran ousted, basically.
The IRGC did.
Yeah, for sure. But we ousted Mossadegh.
You also have to remember that there's 20% of the people that like the government there. It's not 100%, right?
I think
there's 20%, and there's what 30? There's 100 million people.
It might even be more. That's the thing. We don't know. We are just under the impression that everyone in Iran hates the Islamic regime,
Which
and
is
that they're
not true.
protesting. It's not everyone.
It's not
What
true.
the percentage is, I don't know.
I've heard numbers ranging anywhere from 15 to 30%.
I don't
So I'm
know.
going to put it at 20%.
Yeah.
But if there's 100 million people, that means there's 20 million people
Yeah.
that are okay with the government that was in place.
Yeah.
Now, is that a good number? No. I mean, you should have, the majority of. But how many Americans?
That's what I was
don't
going
like
to say.
Trump?
That's what I was about to say. People talk about regime change.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we have to go do it. I was like, well, I'll take a peaceful regime change in the United States.
Yeah. The problem is that our government's not killing their own people.
No, but they're silencing us.
At least
and
not at the
not-
numbers
not-
that
not-
Iran was.
Yeah, no, not.
I
We're
mean, they
not
have
at the
confirmed
degree.
now that over 30,000 Iranians were killed
Yes,
by the
yes.
IRGC.
No, it's terrible.
during
And,
protests.
and this is the message from my Persian friends, guys. We all sympathize with oppression. We all sympathize with the inability to speak up, not having freedom of speech, not having. And if anybody can relate to that, it's the Palestinian people living under occupation. So we understand what it's like to live under a strict regime. Like, it makes sense to us.
Yeah.
But at the same token, see, here's the problem. They don't care how it's achieved. The Persians in the U.S., they don't care. That, like, you tell them, hey, U.S. is doing this on the behest of Israel. And they may, the point is, even if they agree, they don't care. Like, they're like, okay, like, we still need the Ayatollah gone.
Right.
And by the way, he's like 86 years old.
Was.
Yeah, that was a contingency plan anyway. He wanted to martyr himself based off of kind of what Tucker was saying. It makes sense. He's
Maybe.
like, that's why he was above ground. And it's like, it's almost like if someone took out Biden, which it's not like didn't want that, but if someone took out Biden when he was president, you think anything really would have? I mean, do you think Biden's calling the shots anyway? Is my point.
No.
He was more of like a symbolic leader as opposed to somebody calling the shots.
That's the one thing at least
Yeah.
Trump's calling these shots.
Yeah.
There's
Which
only one person to blame for this.
I used to like him.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's probably the biggest reason why I used to like him.
Because at least you knew it's him.
Yes.
At least you knew who to point the
I
finger
don't want to
towards.
vote for somebody who has no power and no control. That was the one thing about Trump that we liked him for.
The only problem is now is that when you point the finger at him, are you pointing it at him or are you pointing it at Bibi?
Yeah, both at this point. Okay. Okay, speaking of AI and fakes, did you hear that audio about Trump saying, F Marjorie Taylor Greene, if I go down, everyone's going down, I'm not releasing the Epstein files? You heard that audio?
No, but it's got to be fake.
Okay. Everyone thought it was fake, but now they're coming out and saying it could be real. And to be honest, if it was real, it makes perfect sense because that's what I believe anyway. Like, what I'm trying to tell you is I believe Trump is compromised. I've believed that for a long time now. We saw that during the Gaza situation. It was almost like it didn't make sense. Trump was a guy who was, I thought, a man of the people, and so he would do what his base wants him to do. And then we got to a point where he started doing things that was not aligning with the majority of American people. And then all of us, I was like, oh, shoot. Like, it scared me. It scared me because now I'm like, oh, even the president now, it's like if they can get Trump, we're really screwed. And that's when I started realizing the amount of control and power that other foreign entities have over our own government.
Yeah.
It's scary to me.
It is scary.
Yeah. And so I believe he's compromised, whether that's with Epstein or just with his family and financials and tied up. I just feel like Trump does not have the ability to do everything he wants to do. So this audio would make sense to me.
I can tell you this much. When's the last time you heard anything about Epstein?
Oh, no, it's been a while.
Since pretty much February 28th.
Hey, the timing is pretty convenient for people who want the Epstein to go
sure
away,
is.
right?
It
Is it
sure
not?
is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going away.
No, it's not.
I don't think it's going away.
Well, yeah, because they're mistaken. They're doing everything they can to make it go away.
They're trying to slide a hand.
100%.
They're trying to move the
And
pebble under the cup.
apparently,
The
too.
pebble's going to show back up.
And I didn't know this, but apparently during the time of the Monica Lewinsky scandal, we also went to war too. Something like that. Like we did all we could to like get the attention
Desert
away
Storm?
from that. I don't know. No, it couldn't have been. Maybe. I don't think so.
Or Syria?
Something. I don't remember.
Might have been
But I
Syria
heard
or
that
Libya.
today too. It's just, dude, the playbook is just so obvious at this point. American people, fellow citizens, and God-fearing people, just wake up is my message to everybody. Just it's the same playbook over and over and over. False flags here and there, psyops, getting people to be on board with things, and then trying to villainize the rest of us that are just asking questions. It's like COVID all over again.
Right.
You know, it's like COVID.
It's like everything.
Right? They're trying to make people, it's like you're not allowed to ask questions. If you ask questions, you're bad. No. F that. I'm asking questions until I can't ask questions anymore.
My thing is like how much do we not know? And if we knew everything, would we be 100% against or 100% on board?
You'd be against. You'd be
know.
against. No, you would.
I don't know.
Okay, let's talk about the religious aspect of this.
Okay.
If we can. I love religion.
Yep.
I know a lot about the different religions because I've been studying them pretty much my whole life.
Yep.
And I know a lot of the stories, the genealogy. It's actually fascinating. If the American people... Okay, let's focus on the Christian Zionists just for the sake of this argument.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Christian Zionists, they almost made a new religion, honestly. They did. Because it's not authentic Christianity. And I mean that with all due respect to everybody out there who identifies as a Christian Zionist, but I mean this, guys, because your religion, for example, Tucker brought on a clip of this pastor guy who's probably a nobody, Pastor Locke, I believe was his name, and he showed the clip of him draped out in Israeli paraphernalia and basically calling for the rebuilding of the third temple with the idea that if we rebuilt the third temple, then Jesus would come back. And it's like, where are you getting that information from, Pastor Locke? That's not accurate in any biblical scripture type text ever made. It's like, and I honestly feel like a lot of people believe that, Mike. I think that they believe that if the Israelis rebuild their third temple over Al-Aqsa and Dome of the Rock, mind you, there's 15 million Jewish people in the world. There's 2.5 billion Christians and 2 billion Muslims out there. Again, 2.5 billion, 2 billion, 15 million. Okay? So, this idea that rebuilding the third temple will somehow bring Jesus back, that's nowhere in the Bible, dude. And that's the scary part. I think there's this like different sect of religion coming out that's scary because it's a psyop. It's not true. It's a psyop. I'm an Orthodox Christian.
Well, and apparently during that interview, Tucker even pushed back on him, saying that that's just not. That's false.
Oh, you're talking about Huckabee?
No. Pastor Locke.
No. He didn't talk to Pastor Locke. I don't think. No, he didn't interview Pastor Locke.
Oh well, apparently he might not have interviewed him, but he did mention it.
Yeah,
and Tucker said that this is framing this as a very dangerous form of Christian Zionism. Right. The idea that pushing events in Jerusalem, rebuilding a temple or whatever, can force or accelerate end-time events, and Jesus' second coming is just...
Right. So the other thing, too, is that a lot of people in the military now are being... there's a Christian agenda being forced upon them from Pete Hegseth and Trump. And did you see the picture of everyone kneeling and praying with Trump and putting their hands on Trump like he was some
Here
ordained?
Recently?
Yeah. And here's the thing, too, guys. If you're going to war, please pray. Oh, my gosh. Please pray if you're going to war. I'm not saying don't pray. I'm just saying this idea that somehow killing another human, taking another human life can be justified through religion. This is a problem, especially when you have Christians and Israelis, Christians from America, Jews from Israel. Let's word it that way, okay? The problem is America, we don't think of America, you and I think of America as a Christian nation, if you will, because we grew up in a Christian American nation. But it's not like Israel. Israel, their whole identity
It's Judaism.
is a religion,
Yeah.
right? It's a religious state, right? So it's different, even though.
Theocracy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a democracy.
Well, and ironically, the vast majority of Israelis, and I can tell you this as a guy who's been there several times, they're not very religious type people, Mike. I'm telling you, they're very secular, very, very secular.
Oh, one of the biggest like LGBTQ
It's the
hubs in
bi-
the world
it's
is,
the-
is,
it's
is in Israel.
if you ask any proud member of that community, like where was there like Ibiza,
Yeah.
it was Tel Aviv.
Sure.
Yeah, it was, and I know that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was strange because this is supposed
People
to be
don't know
the whole. No, they don't know that, and they won't even believe it if we told them.
Yeah.
You know, because in my mind I was like, because this is the Holy Land. It's not very holy stuff going on right now.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. It's
So, okay. So you got American Christians and the Israelis. They are fighting in the name of Jesus against Muslims who believe in Jesus. That's the part. See, that's the part. That's the part.
I don't think. I
That's the
think.
part.
I think there's a mischaracterization there.
With what?
With us fighting because of religion. I don't see that.
Lindsey Graham has said on
That's
multiple
Lindsey
times.
Graham.
No, I know,
That's
I know,
Lindsey
I know,
Graham.
I know.
That's an idiot.
But the MAGA supporters, they're like that.
Well, they might be like that, but I don't.
It's not everybody.
I don't think that the U.S. government is interfering in Iran because of religious.
No,
beliefs.
because the U.S. government isn't a very religious organization.
saying.
No,
I
I
just-
agree with you. But that's how they get the American people to support this stuff.
I mean, there might be some propaganda
Right,
running
right,
through that's,
right,
like saying
very powerful.
we need to, help our Israeli brothers, and,
in Christ.
in Christ.
That's
yeah.
it's a
And
little.
that's a Mike Huckabee thing.
It's a little oxymoronic.
ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying, Mike. It's a
Because if
little.
you go over there and you say that you're a Christian, they'll spit on you.
It's a little oxymoronic,
Yeah.
right? It almost doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't
That
make
doesn't make
sense. It
sense.
doesn't.
I mean, to me, the biggest thing here, I think, is the oil and gas. I think that's really what this is about. I think this is what it was about in Iraq. I
Okay.
think this is what it was about in Afghanistan. This is what it was about in Venezuela. This is what it's going to be about
It's-
in
it-
Iran.
okay.
And if we do it again somewhere else, it's probably going to be about the freaking oil and gas there too.
The oil is a byproduct. The main push for us regime changing is to take out Israel's arch nemesis. That's the main reason. Everyone knows that. The oil and gas, I'm with you.
I think it's
But that's
3
more-
or 4 birds with one
Yeah,
stone
yeah.
is what the U.S. is looking
There's
at.
so many reasons.
I think it's the oil and gas is probably a top reason. I think, hurting China, bringing them to the
Yes,
table is
yes,
another reason.
yes.
Hurting Russia, bringing them to the table, trying to get this war over in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Russia can't sell their oil to anyone, and Iran can't sell their oil to anyone, then China can't fund these other wars
Right.
through their proxies as well. And so and China realizes like the only way to knock America off is for America to be fighting wars all over the world. Right. And then if America's fighting wars all over the world, don't think that China's not like, we should go take Taiwan right now.
Did you?
And that's what worries me more than anything, honestly, is that we're getting involved in all this stuff everywhere, all over the world, and we're going to be spread so thin that China's going to be looking around like, well, nobody's watching us. Why don't we just go sneak over here and take Taiwan real fast?
I'm gonna.
Because if I'm China, believe me, I'm having those talks right now.
Mike, I'm going to fact check this thing about something I heard today about China already sent a bunch of like military type intelligence ships around Alaska. I heard that today, and that goes exactly with what you're saying. Exactly what you're saying. We are a little too occupied right now, and no one's paying attention. And so, yeah, they could easily go in here. China, Alaska ships. There's something going on that I
China has
heard.
not publicly sent military infrastructure
There we
like
go.
what China is doing near Alaska. Chinese and Russian navies have conducted several joint flotilla transits through the Bering Sea and near the Aleutian Islands in recent years.
Yeah.
Sometimes with a dozen or so ships, but nothing here recently.
What about the reports that China sent in some military ammunition stuff to Iran? Did that end up? You heard about that one? I think China's helping them, just like we were helping.
Oh, it wouldn't
Ukraine.
surprise me at all. I mean,
Right,
they
right.
are allies, and that's what we
Right.
would do with our allies.
Well, to be honest,
China
China
has not clearly openly started shipping full weapons or large finished munition package to Iran.
Okay, speaking of ammunition.
But there are growing signs it may be edging towards more behind the scenes help that we don't know about.
Okay, Tel Aviv has.
And we're using Perplexity today. We're trying Perplexity today, just so you know. That's kind of what's fact checking our stuff today.
Tel Aviv has been severely damaged as a result of this war.
Yes.
I've seen footage. You've seen footage. How much of that is real? How much of that is fake? To be determined. But there's no doubt that Tel Aviv, as long as I've been alive, I don't believe has suffered this much damage ever. So before, if there's missiles coming over Israel, the Iron Dome and all these other mini Iron Domes, they're intercepting almost everything. But the latest stuff that I'm seeing, and this would make sense with the degree of damage that's there, I think that we are depleting our arsenal, to be honest. That's what the word on the street is, and that they can't keep up. And if Iran is just using all their cheap bottle rockets just to
Which
waste...
they are.
Yeah, well, and then to waste all of the defense forces, that's another reason why Saudi and UAE supposedly, and I say supposedly because I don't know, are very upset with the United States because they took a lot of that air missile defense systems from the bases and moved it to Israel. That's the word on the street.
Oh, really?
That's the word on the street, Mike. They are very upset with the U.S. right now. U.S. is pissing a lot of people off.
Well, if that was the case, I'd be upset too. Why the fuck are we defending Israel's shit, not ours?
Because don't forget who has a very, very strong, influential grip on your country, on our country.
Other Middle Eastern countries too recently.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if Tucker's right.
See, why would you do this? Why would we do that? Why
to protect Israel.
When we're going to war
to protect Israel
with Iran, why would we send our missile defense stuff to Israel and leave our bases with our military personnel open for bombing? This doesn't make any sense to me at all.
No, it doesn't. Good. I'm glad you're...
Why would you do this?
Because we're doing Israel's bidding, Mike. That's how this whole thing started.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
It is.
This can't be right.
I believe it's correct, dude. I believe it's correct because, and this is what I'm telling you, I don't know everything. I spend most of my days working and hanging out with my family, but in the meantime, I try and keep up with events, and I have to have this internal sort of sift in my mind when I see something. I'm like, is that real? Is that not real? Could it be real? Could it be fake? But it's almost like Charlie Kirk said one time, he has a really good radar. I have a really good radar. When I see something, I almost immediately know whether or not it's believable or not. Reportedly, that's true. If Tucker's claim is right, and Saudi did arrest Mossad agents who were planting false flag bombs in those countries, thoughts, if it's right.
Well, here's the thing. We talked about this pre-pod. I mean, you're talking about the two countries that do more false flags than any other country on the planet, which is the U.S. and Israel. So if there is false flags, it's probably us doing it.
If it's true though, where's the outrage? There should be outrage.
Oh, the problem is there's nothing confirmed, and you're never going to get anything confirmed. Just like the Bay of Pigs, just like, I mean, everything that's ever gone on in our historical military, presence.
Gulf of Tonkin,
everywhere.
USS Liberty, 9/11, you name it. And it's like there's no outrage. And I think because...
And there's no consequence.
It's almost like the Epstein thing, like you said. The timing of this is very convenient. And that's why I brought up earlier, I was like, what did Iran do again between us bombing their nuclear site and February 28th? What happened except the Epstein release?
Yeah.
Well, what happened? As far as I know, Iran didn't actually
besides
threaten anything or do anything.
Right, besides negotiations, and who knows what those actually sounded like.
No, but those negotiations happened after we already had 2 USS warships parked outside their coast, and our negotiation was not even like...
Yeah.
It was almost like we tried to negotiate. Again,
I can tell you this much. If they don't hurry up and get this thing taken care of before the midterms and gas prices go back up to $5 a gallon... You won't have one Republican win. You won't have one.
No.
So they had better figure this stuff out pretty quick. And they had
and
better do it before July.
Right. And there's a lot of people like me and I think maybe you, who previously identified as Republicans, I cannot.
No.
I want, it's like, dude, you guys left me. I didn't leave you. You left me.
Yeah.
So the Republican Party is completely split. And if you look at it, it's literally over AIPAC and Epstein. Like
It's completely split.
That's what it's over.
That's what it's over.
And what it did too is it united a lot of Democrats and Republicans. You know, like guys I was
Which
talking
should
to.
be happening.
Yeah, this is
Which
what you
should be
said.
happening.
Yeah, for sure, because we're no longer falling into their stupid game.
We can disagree about
Yeah,
social stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And we're
yeah.
going to always have those social disagreements,
You always
moral
talked about
disagreements,
it,
and
yeah.
shit like that. But when it comes to this type of stuff,
Yeah.
we cannot be fighting about this stuff.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
have to look at each other and be like, yeah, but we can't do this.
No. And this new political dividing line is again we said AIPAC and Epstein, but in reality it's like, okay, follow the yellow brick road to the deep state or just bury your head in the sand and keep going. And there's a lot of people over here like, guys, we have crumbs now. Let's figure out who's pulling the strings. Let's figure out what satanic pedophile is doing this today, and then let's like actually do something about it. Let's get this nastiness, corruption out of our government. This war is not popular. Okay, I know that. You know that. And if the longer they keep it going, like you said, the bigger problem they're going to have. The Republicans have a very hard time getting votes, and it's already happened. It's already
And
happening.
heaven forbid if we don't have a regime change at this point.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah.
It would be one of the biggest asterisks on President Trump's presidency.
Yeah.
If we don't have an actual regime change
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Like if we look back 2 years from now or 18 months from now, and there's been really no difference in what Iran has done to their people, one of the biggest failures of our government ever.
And I'm not rooting for that. Again,
I don't think anyone's rooting for that.
But at the same time,
But it's very plausible that happens.
But what I'm seeing right now, based off of the war thus far, and who's been hit, who hasn't been hit, how much money has been wasted, the damage here, the damage there, you can't say we're winning. I'm sorry. You cannot say we're winning, Mike. You can't say that. And that's the scariest thing for an American, because we never in our lives fathomed not being able to win a war.
Well, I think you have to define what winning is here.
Right, because we have nukes.
Right. You have to define what a win is.
Right.
Like, to me, a win doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a democracy in Iran. Like that I don't think that's ever going to happen. Like I just don't see it.
Well, the other thing is too,
but it could change, a regime change to where it's still maybe a theocracy, but it's a lot less of a theocracy.
More secular.
More, I don't even want to call it secular, but just not insanity.
Yeah, not as bad. It's bad.
Right.
It's bad.
I mean,
know
to
it's
where
bad.
if you're a woman and a little piece of your hair comes out of your hijab, that you can get caned for that. Like that's ridiculous, right?
It's not good. I agree with you. It's not good.
Yeah.
But again, that's in terms of the
reasoning.
reasoning.
What I would like to hear from our administration is, this is exactly what we're trying to accomplish.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
This would be a win.
Right.
And anything other than this would not be a win.
Okay.
Like define what you mean by win.
Yeah.
And then let the American people say, okay, yeah, we can get behind that.
Right.
We can do that. The problem is that they're not going to ever do that, because even if they know what they want, there's a chance that they don't get it. So they're never going to say it. Because then if they don't get it, it's a loss. But I mean, right now, technically, they could just stop what they're doing and be like, we won. We completely sank their naval fleet. We completely decimated all of their missile defense, all their missile defense stuff. We completely decimated the upper cabinets. And so if you define that as a win, then we won. But that doesn't change anything in that country for those people or for the people around that country by us doing that. If anything, it just makes them matter. It's like stepping on the snake.
Yeah, Tucker alluded to this too. He goes, look, you took out Ayatollah Khomeini, count it as a win, claim that as your regime change, pack your shit, and go home. That's what he's telling. And he even tried to get in with Trump like 2 days ago. He tried. And they told him there's no point, because Trump was given polls that 90% of Americans are on board with this war. And Tucker's like, no, just count your losses.
I think you could. I
killed
think
them
you
and pull
could
back.
get 90% of Americans if you told them what defines as a win. What are we trying to do here?
When your objective in a war is regime change, that means you're fighting till the end, right? I mean, define what regime change means. Regime change means. I mean, imagine it. Okay.
Well, I don't think at this point it's regime change, because if it's regime change, they would have had to left some of the regime in place to work with them, like we did in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I think at this point what they're trying to do is they're trying to collapse Iran.
Yes.
They are trying to collapse the country of Iran and to make it to where nothing can happen there, and then swoop in at a later date and have Israel run Iran at this point?
That's the point.
Is that what's going to happen?
That's the point.
Because if that's what's going to happen, I'm not on board with that.
No, and that's the point. We have to understand why we're even in this mess in the first place, okay? It's not to free the people of Iran, and it's not oil is a byproduct. It's not the main reason. The main reason is to neutralize them because Israel needs you to. Because without Iran...
What's Israel going to do? Are they going to take over Iran?
No,
Are
no.
they going to call it New Israel?
No, Israel is going to create greater Israel. Okay, did you know that 20% of Lebanon is currently being, like, expelled?
It's crazy. And nobody's talking about it.
No one's talking about it. I feel,
they're getting bombed right now.
Where as a Palestinian, okay, if I was Lebanese, I'd be like, okay, where's the world? I'm sorry. Like, Palestinian, a lot of people knew what was going on for us. Poor Lebanese people, they're trying to turn southern Lebanon into Gaza, and no one's saying anything. And it's like, it's clear as day what's happening. When you see thousands of people, I don't know, tens or hundreds of thousands of people literally being displaced from their homes, that's not a good sign like we saw in Gaza. That's not a good sign, especially when we're talking about the same perpetrators, if you will. Now, Hezbollah supposedly started this shit the most recent time, and that makes me very, very angry because the people of Lebanon do not deserve this. They're innocent people.
Well, but Hezbollah has to. I mean, they've been funded by Iran for the last 2
last
decades.
time I checked, Hezbollah was on its last limb.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. That's why it's like Hezbollah
propaganda, baby.
For Hezbollah to fire into Israel first during this war, which is my understanding is what they did. That's the dumbest thing ever. Like, just don't create more chaos for the people in your country.
Yeah,
man.
but that's what those people want.
Yeah,
that's what
crazy.
those people want.
And then, which is why the people in Lebanon
And
are
the
not
other thing that I'm worried.
Hezbollah.
The other thing that I'm really worried about is let's just say that 10 days from now, Iran is basically gone, right? Does that message go out to all these people around the world, all of these, IRGC people that are everywhere in the world? We know that they've done this, right? Yeah. We know that Iran has sent people into Mexico. They've crossed the border into the United States. We know that this has happened, right? We know that we have tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people from that region of the world in our country illegally. Are they sitting back waiting for Iran to be on their last leg, and then all of a sudden we have actual attacks on American soil from illegal immigrants from that region?
It scares me.
That's what I am more scared about than anything, especially being in the city of Houston, right?
Yeah,
because we're talking about the oil and gas center of the
world.
world.
Yes.
Right?
And if you look up like areas that, because I've seen this, so okay, there's
one real quick. There's one refinery in the United States that can refine the heavy crude from Venezuela. One. Do you know where it's at?
Baytown.
Galveston, Texas.
Yeah, I believe
so if you're Iran and you know that we're taking that Venezuelan oil,
it's a target.
It's a target.
It's a big target.
It's a big target.
Yeah. And all the other things where they say like, oh, look out, there's going to be attack here.
And so instead of maybe putting those missile defense systems in Israel, maybe we should have shipped them to freaking Galveston.
Yeah, for sure.
Like maybe we should worry about us.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's bullshit, dude. Yeah. I had no idea that we did that. That's bullshit. Mm-hmm. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You cannot take our equipment away from our military and give it to another military to save their lives. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's bullshit.
That's what happened. And how many American service members have lost their lives since the start of this war?
Yeah, supposedly 6 so far.
Yeah.
At that military base.
You saw the damage.
At that military base.
Yeah.
So what would have happened if our shit would have been there? Would we have intercepted that and we would have had 6 people go home to their kids?
That's what you would have
Because if that's the case, Dude, I'm so pissed off.
Yeah. You should be.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
why
you should
why
be.
the hell are we taking our shit away from our people? We paid for it.
Because that's the whole reason you're there in the first place.
It's bullshit.
Is to do their bidding.
Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, agreed. The Houston.
I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that we did that.
Yeah. No, there's more.
That
I got
makes me
more.
very upset.
No, there's more. There's more. The anytime they say like, oh, there's going to be possible attacks here and there and there and there in the States, Houston's always like on that list.
Is
always.
it hot in here?
No,
No?
I'm good.
I'm
Well, you
just
just got
getting all
worked
riled
up. You just
up.
got worked up from the
That really
military.
pisses me
No,
off,
I
dude.
know, because you didn't know.
because
I thought you knew.
If we had 6 Americans die because of that bullshit,
It's more than 6.
I'm telling you, man.
But
that,
Mike,
that's
I don't want to make you more upset, but it's more than 6, Mike. There's some reports out there saying over 500 Americans have already died, and that seems a little more believable to me than 6.
Yeah, I don't know about 500 because all of our stuff has been air. So I just don't think they've taken out enough of our planes at this point. Actually, I don't think they took out any of our planes. I think Kuwait accidentally took out 3 of our planes.
I saw that. I saw the thing about Kuwait
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I'm
And
not
they
sure.
immediately were like, oops.
Well, I know something crazy went down where there was a pilot that got ejected. Then they went to try and get him. They couldn't get him, and then there were some Israelis that got stuck somewhere. I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's too much happening for us to
Too
keep
much.
up with this. But gist of the message. Why are we there?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What's the objective? What's the goal? What's the end game?
Well, the government's objective and the government's reason is because we had credible evidence that they were going to attack us first.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, the whole
Just like weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, just the whole Palestinian thing again.
Yeah.
We have to cage these people up. We have to keep them occupied.
Mm-hmm.
We can't give them freedom because if we do, they will kill us. So I guess the response is just keep them in cages forever.
I just don't understand how you're gonna get 20 million people in Iran who are backing the IRGC to stop backing the IRGC.
Yeah,
How are you going to do that, America?
I don't know.
How are you going to do that, Israel?
no, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there were that
We've
many
tried
people
sanctions. We've tried this. We've tried that. It's 100 million
there.
people
Yeah, it's
in Iran.
like over 90 million. Yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
And
And it's one of the biggest countries
that's the other
in the
thing
Middle
too.
East.
Geographically, it's
Geographically,
humongous.
it's like Western Europe.
So it was going back to what's Israel's end game. You know, they took the Golan Heights. They're trying to take the Sinai. They basically own the Sinai, and they are pushing into southern Lebanon, pushing into Syria. They want more land. They want more power. They want more control. They want more people. They want more everything.
And I'm not saying that Iran was our friend, and I'm not saying that Iran wasn't our enemy. They are our enemy. They say it almost every day. Death to America. It's one of their chants.
Well, that's the psyop that they want you to believe, and
but that is true.
okay.
There is a major faction in Iran that would love nothing more than to kill Western civilization. I think you know that.
I believe that, Mike. I believe that.
There's a faction of our own
That's
people.
what I was
going to
say. I just don't believe that.
right.
I just, it's a lot of propaganda
We have
psyop
a
going
communist as the mayor in New York.
Yeah.
So obviously there's people here that believe the same kind of thing.
on. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of you keep hearing the same talking points over and over and over again. It's like death to America.
Here's
death
my
to
whole thought on
America.
this. If this thing isn't wrapped up by the end of this month, it's over.
Yeah,
And we've done nothing
Yeah.
but spend $1 trillion.
more, probably. I mean,
but
this
that's the truth.
Yeah.
And if we don't somehow figure out how to change this regime in the next 3 weeks, this will be one of the biggest gaffes in the United States history.
Yeah.
This will rank right up there with the withdrawal in Afghanistan. In my point,
Absolutely.
I mean, it'll be withdrawal in Afghanistan right underneath it, the Operation Epic Fury.
Yeah, I would agree.
If
with
we
you.
don't see the Iranian people actually freed and actually have some semblance of a Western civilization in the next, I'm gonna say in the next 6 months, man, this is gonna have to happen quick.
And then how does this thing not become nuclear? How does this thing not become more? We talked about this. The U.S. hit a water processing facility in
Water
Iran.
treatment facility.
So there's, like they said, 30 villages are not going to have clean water. So Iran told them, this is a very dangerous game you're playing here, guys, because you're targeting civilian infrastructure. as opposed to bases and oil refineries and stuff like that. And what happens if we get our water taken out or we get our energy taken out? You know, EMP attacks, stuff like that. There's nukes. I mean, this is a very dangerous situation that needs to be de-escalated very quickly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just think we're playing a very scary thing here.
Well, and it's not a game, and that's the problem.
Oh.
Is that this is real people's lives? This is real economic damage. This is real infrastructure damage, and this is a depletion of our military resources in an area where I don't think we're going to get any benefit. Like you know, Venezuela. Like we can already see benefit with Venezuela, right? Whether you like it or not, we're getting oil for nothing, and so that's a benefit to the United States. Whether you agree with it or not doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But we are getting at least a benefit there. It looks like the only benefit that we're getting in Iran is that we're choking out China and Russia. And is that a big enough benefit?
Is that even a benefit? Because I'm not sure what China and Russia are really doing to us. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. They have convinced you that China and Russia are out to kill you.
Right.
And I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying the killing part. I'm not
I'm
buying
just-
that.
you-
Would they want to economically devastate us? Yeah, I think.
Well,
I think
apparently,
so.
we want to economically devastate them. You just admitted it.
Yeah.
So what's the? I don't understand why we always have this moral high ground. You know, it's confusing to me. It's like those people are our enemies. We have to do everything in our power to cut their oil. They hate us, and it's like, and if they even suggest that they hate you, it's like, well, that's why.
Bad people
Because they
do
hate
exist,
you.
though. Bad
No,
people
I'm
do
not saying
exist.
they don't. I'm just saying there's a lot of psychological
Agreed.
operation going on when it comes to the government getting you to be on board with certain actions that are not in the best interest of the American people.
Yep.
We are hurting, man. We're going to hurt way worse as a result of this war because, and you said it too. Okay, let's assume we regime change and that we take Iran's oil. Just out of, you know, when
Probably gonna happen.
well, okay, that would be if we were going to proceed with all-out war until the end, fight till the death type stuff. That would be best case scenario, right?
Yeah.
That would be best case scenario for the United States and for Israel because now you take out Israel's
and hopefully
nemesis.
Iran. You would hope.
Sure, you want to free the people of Iran, all that stuff. Okay, we're going to get benefit from that, really? Really? Me and you are going to get benefit from that? The economy's going to get better? Oil's going to go down? It's not. It's not. It never happened with any of these wars that we fought and won before. This is not like, you know, at least back in the day, if you went to war like a Roman Empire or like British Empire, you know, you went there, you colonized them, you taxed them, you got the money, your empire benefited. I'm really confused when we have ever benefited from any war or any regime change we've been in since I've been alive, because since I've been alive, we've only gotten worse and worse.
Agreed. I agree.
So what makes you think this is going to be any different? Like what I'm saying is,
Hopefully optimistic.
but I'm saying, like, even best case scenario, I still think we lose.
No. I think best case scenario, I think you get peace in the Middle East.
That would be amazing. Can we
Yeah.
free the Palestinians too while we're at it, or no?
We better.
Can we?
We better.
That should be part of peace.
Because if we don't, that's going to be another black eye. Because
Yeah.
you can't go in and say, oh, we're going to free the Iranian people, but then still persecute the Palestinians.
That's what's happening now. I don't even know where all those poor bastards are. Where are the 2.2 million
Especially
people?
when the Iran money is the money that caused the whole thing to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, so we're going to free those people,
Yeah.
but the Palestinians are still going to get fucked?
And again, the root cause of the issue is that, and I'm not trying to make everything about myself. I'm just telling you, like,
Well, I mean,
this is the root cause.
That's what
like,
that's what happened first.
like we can't not talk. We can't just ignore that aspect, because what does Iran want?
But you also can't ignore the fact that Iran gave the money to Hamas and
No,
Hezbollah to
no.
do those things.
No, I will not. I
right?
never will. Yeah, they
and
did.
so if this gets us one step closer to freeing not only the Iranian people but the Palestinian people by eliminating the funding mechanism for those groups,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Then that, I think, is best case scenario.
Okay.
And then you get a regime change. You get a little bit more of a Western society in Iran. You get a lot more of a Western society in Palestine, and they actually do what they say they're going to do. Then we can sit here 18 months from now and be like, thank God this happened, right? Now, what are the chances of that? I have it at less than 10%
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
at this point. And it might change over the next 2 days, but at this point, March 8th at 3:30 p.m., I feel that we have a 3% chance of a 1% chance of best case scenario happening.
You don't like the fact that Hezbollah gave money to Hamas and you don't like the fact that Iran gave money to Hezbollah and Hamas, right?
Correct.
It's bad. What about Israel itself giving money to Hamas?
Well, that's another.
What is that about?
Yeah.
Because that happened. That's not a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy. It actually happened.
That happened.
It was in the 90s.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it still happened. I mean, I
understand.
That's a little weird, no?
I understand, but and it was also framed as humanitarian aid.
Yes, it was.
So, but so was the $8 billion that we sent to Iran.
Yes.
They didn't use it for anything but missiles, obviously.
No. I'm with you.
Or drones. So, I mean, that's the problem, right? Is that everything is so intertwined. We've given money to everyone.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
And then we end up fighting them 10 years later.
Our money.
Right.
Our money.
Right.
Our money.
Right.
Money that you and I work very hard for. Very hard for.
Yeah. And then we give over half of it away.
Give
to the government.
Half of it to the government. I'm not sure what they're doing with it. They're
My
just
kids
giving
take
it
the other
away. Yeah. Say. Can we jump on the Epstein email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one?
The Epstein email from 2003, the only Epstein file that I know of relating to 9/11. And just this email is real. This is what I want our viewers and the American people to understand. The email is real. The DOJ released it, meaning
They did.
as far as I know, every email that was released from the DOJ actually had Epstein's fingerprint on it, right? There are not fakes in there as far as I know, right? Is it fair to assume that?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jeffrey Epstein actually typed this information, and nobody's asking questions right now. Like, I know we're at war. I'm sorry. I understand we're at war, but this is a pretty hot topic, I would say. Why is Epstein asking someone to be on the secret shadow commission for 9/11? Why?
Right. Let's read this. So, recently released Jeffrey Epstein emails under the Epstein Files Transparency Act comprised over 6 million documents. Sorry, it just loaded. From the U.S. Department of Justice. Investigations into Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and related matters. However, these releases represent only a fraction of the total materials, estimating suggest about 2% of Epstein's emails have been made public so far.
Wow.
2%. And there's over 13 million
He spent a lot of
so
time
far.
on his laptop.
He was a very connected man. All right. Regarding the specific email that we mentioned about a secret shadow commission for 9/11, this appears in the released files, specifically data sets like EFTA 0057870 and EFTA 0233360, and involves an exchange between investigative journalism Edward J. Epstein, no relation to Jeffrey, and Ghislaine Maxwell. On January 6th, crazy day, right? Crazy day. January 6, 2003, Edward Epstein emailed Maxwell asking any interest in being on the Shadow Commission on 9/11.
He asked Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes. Now, you have to remember, this was 2 years after 9/11 had happened.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So 9/11 had already taken place.
Yeah.
2 years or 2.5,
and
a year and a half
just
later.
For context, let's not forget who Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was, and let's not forget who her lover was.
The membership list is secret, Maxwell replied. Thanks for the invite. Unfortunately, I cannot be on the Shadow Commission. So here's some context. Edward Epstein, again, no relation to Jeffrey Epstein, was a prominent American investigative journalist from 1935. He was alive 1935 to 2024, known for critiquing official government investigations, such as his 1966 book, Inquest, which challenged the Warren Commission's findings on the JFK assassination, which we now know was a completely falsified document. He often explored intelligence conspiracies and high-profile events. There is no public record of an official shadow commission on 9/11, but these are some very, very top prominent people talking about this, and I don't know what was it about. What was the shadow thing for?
I mean, somebody give
I
me
have no idea.
But this is a problem. Someone give me a logical explanation for the email. What does Ghislaine Maxwell have to do with 9/11? Why is there a secret shadow commission in the first place? Like, these are just like obvious basic questions. You know how I feel about 9/11. And to be honest, I'm so glad that we can openly talk about it without offending people, because you know who's the most offended about talking about 9/11 and the official narrative are the victims of 9/11. Those people that lost loved ones on 9/11, they're the ones that have become the crazy conspiracy theorists like us. They're the ones.
Well, not only
So-
that, the people that their sons and daughters went overseas and
Yeah,
died,
and died
for
yes,
a war
yes, yes,
that should
yes.
have never happened.
Exactly. So there's nobody left to offend, is what I'm saying. Like right now, if we keep spewing out all this anti-war stuff, it can be offensive. It can be offensive to people in the military families, people over there. It's like, well, my son, I understand it. So it's a little sensitive. Right now, this is sensitive for the Iranian Americans, my Persian friends. It's sensitive for the military families. And so during 9/11, don't forget, it was almost like COVID. If you even suggested that there was any sort of foul play involved or some conspiracy involved, you got shot down real quick, Mike.
Yeah.
So that's all gone. That's all gone. So now we have, and of course it took 25 years, but we can speak openly and freely about 9/11 all day and no one cares.
So Maxwell's invitation from Epstein, not Jeffrey, but the Edward, could have likely stemmed from her extensive elite and intelligence connections.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that the same thing as saying, yeah, thank you. Yes. Okay. Yes, exactly.
So she did have,
Yes.
so she did have these connections
that-
that everybody says they didn't have.
That's correct. That's correct. That's what we're saying, is that this
Her
whole thing
father,
is an intelligence
Robert
operation.
Maxwell, was a British media mogul with alleged ties to Israeli intelligence, the Mossad, and rumors persist about his involvement in espionage. Ghislaine herself moved in high society circles associated with politicians, scientists, and influencers through her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Edward Epstein may have viewed her as someone with potential insider perspectives on global security, intelligence lapses, or international networks, especially given the post-9/11 focus on Middle Eastern ties and intelligence failures.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy to me how intertwined Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were in everything all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
It almost
They work for the deep state.
like confirms that the deep state does exist.
No, yeah. You better
To me.
bet your ass it exists. Mike.
Like, at this point, I don't see something being able to change my mind
No.
that we do have a deep state.
Yes.
They are doing whatever they want,
Right.
whenever they want, however they want,
It's almost,
for whatever reason they want.
it's almost like the devil. Remember that phrase that says the devil's greatest trick is to convince us that he didn't exist?
Right.
Deep state, same thing.
Same thing,
Well, they're the same people.
probably.
They worship the devil. I mean, this is how
Supposedly.
deep this rabbit hole gets, man. This is like not a joke. This is not a joke. I guess when you're a kid and you hear stuff like this, you just think to yourself, oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. But you don't like really believe it. It's like there's a big chunk of your heart that like says, yeah, maybe there's bad people out there, but are the people pulling the strings really that dark?
And are they conspiring against
Right.
us?
Are they intentionally
Intentionally conspiring
as opposed to
against
just making money?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Right. So for us, it's like, oh, they're just greedy.
Yeah.
No. I'm not saying they're greedy. I'm telling you that they worship Satan. Like there's a big difference there.
Yeah.
Between someone who likes money and someone who sacrifices children to Moloch.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like, we're not talking about the same people.
We're not talking about the same thing.
No. And
It might be the same people.
And I am.
But we're not talking about the same thing.
Of that belief that exists. And then that's true. 1933 Soldier Field, I sent you that video. I don't know if you saw it. They had a statue of Moloch, and they were, I'm not joking, they were putting, whether it's fake or real children, in this fire-breathing statue. You got that satanic ritual that was filmed outside of CERN, the particle accelerator place
Yeah.
in Switzerland.
Yeah.
That's real.
It's
That's
real.
not a fake.
Not fake.
And then we just kind of brush it over. You have all these eyewitnesses talking about rituals and stuff, Freemasonry, Knights of the Templar. It's like, how much stuff do you need to hear from people before you start to realize, oh, there's something here. This is not a conspiracy. There is something here. And Epstein, I keep saying, is the yellow brick road. It's like we finally have a path to get these people. And every time we try and dig, If Thomas Massey isn't in Congress, this doesn't happen. It took one person.
Just to not stop talking about it.
He should go down in history if this works out. Whether it works out or not, at least there's people like us that know the truth. And we'll try our best to pass it on to future generations to paint history correctly. That's the other part of this whole thing that's scary.
Yeah.
Is that whatever they put in the textbooks regarding all this stuff is not going to be what you and I believe.
It's not going to be what we lived.
Right.
These are we are living this right now.
So
this is happening currently today.
So 100 years from now, the people that are around, we're all gone. How are
they
they
can
going to
change the narrative whatever they want? At that point.
Oh, thank you. Hence World War II. Imagine doing that before internet. All you did was print whatever you wanted.
Exactly.
You know, here at least we have some refuting video documentation.
You have to think at this point that everything that went on in World War II and World War I was all propagandized. It was all fake. I mean, how else can we look at it? Because if you look at all the other wars, 9/11, Desert Storm, World War II, World War I, Vietnam, all of these wars, they were all caused by false information, fake information, misinformation, propaganda, whatever it is. All of them.
You're familiar with Patton's famous last words before he was accidentally unalived in a car crash. General Patton from World War II. Oh, you don't know?
Maybe, but I don't. Not on the top of my head.
It's better if you read it.
What?
Way better if you read it. So, if anyone knew the ins and outs of why we went to war, wouldn't it be him? Wouldn't it? What do you say?
Well, his actual last words were, "This is a hell of a way to die."
No, not that, dude. No, he talks about fighting on the wrong side of the war. It's crazy. This is Patton. This is our most revered general of that war, who, again, nobody knows more than this dude.
Let's just see what he says, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh.
This might be a perfect ending to the pod. It's really thinking, too. I don't think Brock wants to mess this up.
Oh, God. I can find it. I'll read it to you.
The phrase "fighting on the wrong side of the war" is often linked to General S. Patton's views on World War II, particularly his post-victory criticisms of Allied strategy and the emerging Cold War dynamics. While Patton did not verbatim say, "We fought on the wrong side," he expressed sentiments that have been paraphrased into similar quotes, such as, "We defeated the wrong enemy." These reflect his beliefs that the Soviet Union, rather than Nazi Germany, posed the greater long-term threat to the West.
Okay, I have the quote. This is General George S. Patton on July 21st, 1945. "Gentlemen, I have come this morning to the inexcusable conclusion that we have fought on the wrong side. This entire war, we should have fought with the fascists against the communists and not the other way around. I fear that perhaps in 50 years, America will pay a dear price and become a land of corruption and degenerate morals." Wow. That kind of came true. The last part, at least, you know? And so, we talk about this propaganda, Mike. It's just, this is what we're having to face right now.
And here's the thing. If you don't think that propaganda works, you're being propagandized.
Yes, good point.
Like,
very good.
That's the simplest answer that I could ever give you. If you don't think it works, it's working on you because you don't think it works.
I think we underestimated the power of media, and we underestimated the power of controlled mind thinking.
Well, and the other thing that they did is they stopped this from happening.
Yeah.
They eliminated direct talk, and everything's done via 160 characters online now.
Yeah.
You cannot have a conversation about these types of things in 160 characters.
No.
It's impossible.
No.
The other day we were at dinner with someone, and they were talking about our podcast. And they said, I honestly didn't think y'all were friends because y'all argue on the podcast. Do you remember this?
No.
You don't remember this?
Oh, Frank said that?
Yeah. And then we both looked at it and we were like, that's why we're such good friends, is because we can have these arguments and we can talk about things that we don't necessarily 100% agree upon. But deep down, morally and things like that, we are the same.
No,
but
we're the same,
but we have a lot of a difference of opinions, And I think that being able to sit down and talk with someone with no judgment about what my thoughts are, what my opinions are, because I have no judgment about yours, and listening to where you're at and listening to where I'm at, it allows me as a person to be more open-minded about things. And people, all I can say, start talking to your friends about this stuff. This is our life. They are ruining our lives. Our politicians, our government, the Israeli government, all of these people, they're ruining our lives. We need to stop infighting with each other and start talking to each other like Americans because we love each other. It doesn't matter to me who the freaking president is. It doesn't matter to me who's in Congress. If the American people can start talking to each other open-mindedly and not be so dadgum propagandized and so dadgum stuck to their belief system that's probably wrong, we could do a lot with this country. We still have the Constitution. We still have our freedoms. We need to stand on that principle. We need to stand on our freedom and do this together as Americans and stop freaking fighting each other over this absolute bullshit that they try to force down our throats. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Amen, brother. Amen. I was at a conference this weekend, and it was a cardiology conference, but there was a lot of political discussion, and people come up to me because they know I'm on the pod and they know I'm opinionated, and so we talk about it. I was shocked how many people are starting to turn this sort of conspiracy boat around. These are people who in their wildest dreams would never have imagined some of the crazy conspiracy talks that people are saying. And then there's a lot of us now. There's a lot. And like you said, how do we change the narrative? Well, you got to talk to each other and come out of the conspiracy closet and, start admitting, like, hey, this is what I believe. Like, I hope, I know I'm not saying what they say on Fox News, but man, I don't think they're telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth here.
They're not.
No,
Nobody is.
No.
Nobody is.
No.
You're not getting the full truth from anyone, and you're getting more lies than you are the truth out of everything at this point. So do your own research, but talk amongst your friends, man. Tell them what you believe. Have them push back on you. Have an open mind. Don't get mad if somebody doesn't agree with you. That's not what this is about. This is about open discussion, open talk. That's the only way to learn. It's the only way to learn these things that are true or not true, and to give a real take on what's happening in the world. So do more talking. Talk to your friends about this stuff. This is not stuff that we should just set beside and let the politicians handle it and all this kind of stuff. That's not where we're at anymore. They'll kill you too. If you don't think so, they just killed 160 girls in Iran on accident. You don't think that they'll accidentally kill us? Believe me, they could care less. They couldn't care less about us or them.
We grew up in a society where we were so privileged that, to be honest, it was frowned upon to discuss politics. Right? It was like, no, we don't talk politics.
You go vote and you keep it to yourself.
Personally, I think religion, sex, and politics are the three greatest things to talk about because they're the most honest, and you can have real conversations with people and see what people really think in their hearts and minds. And it's like we're at a point now where, and I've mentioned this to you several times, I didn't grow up political. You didn't grow up political. I didn't want to become political. Okay, I grew up with this Palestinian sort of thing behind me to where I understood the geopolitics of the Middle East more than an average American could.
Because you have family.
Right? And I also understood, forgive me for saying this, the degree of deception that's been going on for so long. But I just figured that there's nothing I can do about it. This is just the way it is. I can't convince people that it's any other way. And you just eat it. And then now there's finally this wave of not just that becoming undone, but everything else falling in line. And so it's like COVID, I think, was the first thing that set us weirdos off. We were like, I'm not believing all this.
We overheated the camera. The guy was like, wait a minute.
We ran out of juice.
I don't remember exactly where we were at. It's been about 3 minutes that we've been down. But I do want to talk about one more thing since we got a minute, since we got some fresh batteries. The Vote Save America Act. Did you see what they added to it?
No. Tell me.
So it's not just about voter ID requirement anymore. They're adding the men and women's restrooms and men and women's sports to that bill.
To that bill?
Why?
Because we're saving America.
Why? Why? 89% of people want the voter ID thing to pass. Why would you put the other two items on there about the rest? I'm not saying that I don't disagree with it.
Yeah.
That voter registration bill has nothing to do with the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Nothing. It is about voter ID. That's it. Why in the world?
What are they trying to do?
They're trying to basically say, okay, the voter ID bill is going to be the voter ID bill. So you have to have ID to vote. You have to show U.S. citizenship. But then the next thing is on the same bill now is they're going to get rid of men and women's sports and the gender bathroom thing. And it's like, what does that have to do with voter ID? And why would you put it on there? Do you know why they want to put it on there? Because they know that if they add that tag to it, that the LGBT community will just go over the top, right? And then the voter ID thing will just never go. It'll never pass because of the LGBTQ thing.
They're getting them to fight for them.
They're getting them to fight for them. They're getting the Kurds to fight for them. Seriously.
The rent is
But
soldiers.
why? Why would you put it on? It has absolutely nothing to do with voter ID.
It's the fringes, Mikey. It's the fringes.
It's the most ridiculous thing, and it's right in your face. We want this to happen too, but we're going to put all this other bullshit in the bill that nobody wants to happen, or that a lot of people don't want to happen, and then try to make it pass with the Save America Act. It's like, no, that's not what this is about. This is about voter ID. It should be one law, one ID, one vote, one U.S. citizenship. That's it. Doom, done. Have it signed. Be done. Done for the midterms. All done. No. Now we're going to add LGBTQ items to it.
Here's my question about voter ID. This is
The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
So you're telling me that when voting first started in this country the way that it's done now, okay, people were required, obviously, to show identification. And then
It's always been state by state.
Okay, but all states required
No.
in the past.
That I'm not sure of.
That's what I'm saying. At some point, they must have.
You can look it up.
No, they must have. They must have. Think about it. It's not like
I don't think they did, dude, because you also have to remember that at one time we didn't have like passports or anything.
Yeah, so that's my question. I'm trying to figure out, did somebody say, hey, you used to be able to have to show your ID here, and now we're just going to take that away to where you don't? Or was it always kind of in the law to where you never had to? Because that would make a big difference in my thought process regarding this obviously stupid law that you know how I felt about it.
No, because remember, it's thinking, but I think the only way that you could vote back in the day is you had to own property. Like you couldn't be a woman and you had to own property. I think those were the two things. I think. Hold on, let me see. When the United States was founded, typically restricted to white male property owners over the age of 21. Yeah. So that's what it was pretty much initially. There were no formal voter ID requirements.
Yeah,
basically because there were no IDs.
I guess what I'm asking more is like when in the 70s and 80s, you know, like in the 1980s, could you vote without an ID? You know, that's kind of what I want to know. Is like, could you ever in the past, like past, besides when this thing got brought up and rehashed, like, did you always have to show your ID? Because again, I think it's really dumb. I think it's dumb. The whole thing's dumb.
No, ID required for voting in most hold on. I'm still thinking.
I think that it was always required, and then somewhere along the way they said, nah, it's okay, don't need it.
I'm pretty sure it's always been a state-by-state thing, and only 5 states required ID by 1980.
Okay. So I guess at the beginning it wasn't a thing, and then it became a thing. But I mean, we all agree it should be a thing.
Voter ID requirements were very minimal across the United States. In the 70s, there were 4: South Carolina, Hawaii, Texas, Florida. In the 80s, there were 1 more, Alaska. They often relied on verbal affirmation of identity and signature matching against registration records or community recognition in smaller precincts. But you also have to remember, we didn't have the widespread immigration like we've had, especially over the last 4 years, right? And I think that's where the American people have really, I mean, Trump got elected on closing the border. You can say whatever you want about everything else, but I think 90% of the people that flipped for Trump, flipped because of the border. I mean, they were just pouring in this country, and everybody saw it. Everybody knew what was happening. People were getting killed by these immigrants left and right. I mean, you had the Riley girl, you had the girl on the bus, you've had a guy in San Francisco the other day just standing. Did you see this? Just a guy standing, waiting for a bus. Some immigrant walks up to him, just stabs him in the back. Literally just stabs him in the back and just keeps walking. The guy turns around like, what just, like not knowing what happened. And then all of a sudden he just falls
Bleeding
down.
out in his kidney.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so, but here's the thing. When 80-something% of the people in the United States agree that we should have some type of identification to vote, how that doesn't get passed is mind-blowing to me. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It really shows you how much our politicians do not work for us.
Right.
They just do not. And it's almost in every way, man. I mean, that is the one thing that I've talked about in the past that could really unify our country. That it really could. If you put that vote out there, take off the transgender, take off the women's bathroom, take that off, and just make it a very simple law. If you go to vote, you have to have an ID and you have to be registered to vote. You have to be American. It's three things. You have to be American, you have to be registered to vote, and you have to show an ID of who you are.
Done.
89% of the people in this country would do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's common sense.
How it's not already done blows my mind. And it's not just the Democrats.
No.
Thune is doing it too.
Wow.
He's blocking this whole thing, and he's the one that added these two crazy things to it.
Who's that?
To me,
Who's that?
the leader of the Senate or whatever, right?
Oh,
Senator
a
Thune?
Senate majority guy?
Senate majority,
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't. The whole thing's wild to me, dude.
So, all right, well, our cameras are good, but I guess we're done.
Yeah.
Bro, great pod.
Yeah.
For our Iranian friends, we really hope that this works out. I really do. What Iran has been through, and really what the Middle East has been through over the last 20 years has been nothing short of devastating. And if there's a way, if there's a chance, even though I think it's, a very small chance that we can have true peace in the Middle East and give our Iranian brothers and sisters and our Saudi and our UAE and our Kuwaiti and our Qatari and, our Israeli, all of them peace over there. I pray for that for them. I really do.
Yeah.
And I pray that they can have some semblance of the freedom that we have had over the last, 250 years that we've been in this country. This is our 250-year anniversary this year. And if we can do something like that and help the world, and not do it from a place of wanting something out of it, but really helping, really trying to help, then I think that you can get the Americans on board with this. And I think that you can get the global population on board with this. And I think that if we can start talking to each other and really start having these conversations and force our politicians, and I'm not just talking about the United States, because Europe can do the same thing. The people in Europe can stand up. They can stand up for themselves, and they can start making their political class listen to them and do what they want them to do, because that's how these governments are supposed to be set up. If we can get to that point, man, what a world we could leave our kids. What a world we could leave our kids.
You talked about it a couple weeks ago where we talked about America being like the big daddy and us having like this obligation as the world's superpower to like bring peace to the world. And I feel like maybe we used to be kind of like that, and now we just seem to be very aggressive. It's almost like we kind of shed ourselves of that.
Well,
let's move towards.
I don't necessarily disagree with exerting power when needed.
Same.
But you can't do it for reasons that are not moral.
Yeah, unjustifiable reasons for sure.
And if our reason for going over there is to bring peace to the Middle East and give freedom to these countries that want it, right? That want it. That's the thing. 80% of the people in Iran want this to happen, right? That's a good number. If we can do this for them and we can really, really make peace in the Middle East, I think the next thing that happens is peace in Africa, and then I think the next thing that happens is peace in the Mexico and South America, and I think that all of those things, they're on the table. They are on the table. If we can play this the right way and not keep lying to everyone about what we're actually doing and why we're doing it, and if the why is right, I think that we can get this done. I really, really do. And I think that Trump might be one of the only guys to be able to do it. If he's not getting caught up in this crap that it looks like he might be getting caught up in.
That's the other thing. It's hard.
I pray to God. I really do. I pray to God that God's hand is on this in some way. I really do. I really do. Because those people over there, they need it. They deserve it.
Yeah.
We have fucked their world up for the last 25 to 35 years.
Yeah.
They deserve this.
Yeah.
And if we can be a small part in helping that happen, God, I hope that's what's happening. I really, really do.
No, I echo the same sentiment.
The world deserves this.
Yeah,
the world deserves this. These governments have just fucked us for forever.
Yeah, they're playing chess and basically using us and our families that go fight for them as pawns, man.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
So keep talking, friends. Keep talking to everyone. Keep saying what's on your mind. Be open-minded, but be opinionated. Be open-minded, but be opinionated. And tell people what you believe. It's the only way to get the word out there. We love you guys. Thank you again. Great podcast, Bubba. Love you, man. Be good. See you guys. Bye.